Just get me about 30 seconds of that. It's not moving around, so it's probably something coming out of the seat. So the seat is in front of the building. That's why it's picking up that contour. Do you guys see what I'm looking at?
Yeah. Okay.
When I'm going through this and trying to debunk things that are going on with this, first thing I look for are the 3 points for the face. If it's not there, I move on. Second thing is, did it move? Can we get a reaction out of it? If you're Big John, can you raise your right hand? Like, that's the kind of mentality of the...
This thing raises its right hand.
Well, those are the things that we've caught in the past, which is why this thing is still on the tour. So, there are 3 points for a face. I'm going to give it that. But I don't see any legs whatsoever.
Oh, there was. Right there.
Right there.
Yeah, it comes
Right there.
down. Yeah, it looks like in a seating position.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. You can continue to film that as I'm explaining it.
Okay.
So, now with all of this that's going on, and I spot check it, I will brighten it to make sure that it's not the outline of a golf cart seat, a tree, Matthew lurking in the darkness. You guys are getting my point. I want to make sure it's not any of those kind of things. You got a car coming by, you might want to lower your camera. Okay, perfect. So the camera is super fun, super cool. It's going to pick up anything with leaves in it as well. So trees and bushes are not your friend, Amy, just so you have an idea.
All right, gotcha.
She's getting ready to film the tree.
I want it.
I knew it. I tried to catch it ahead of time. All right, next camera.
Oh, look at this. There's one down there.
It's the leaves.
Oh, that's what you were saying. That's not my
The
friend.
leaves are in front of the sidewalk.
I was like, oh, there's another one right
Are we
here.
going to have a problem, Amy?
We might, but it might make the night interesting.
It might.
too,
It's
you
definitely
know?
going to get us some good chuckles, I'm sure. All right, you can step back in line. I know you're
All
having
right,
to
shut
bust
up.
the front.
Hit.
Yeah, go ahead and stop.
Okay.
You're also going to escalate it, so now nothing below a 7.4. Just keep it going up. Brandon, you got anything coming out of yours?
0.2.
0.2. You're still at a 2.5, so make sure anything above that 2.5.
Well, I just got a 0.4.
2.5.
Oh, no.
All right, so this place, by the way, this is where I start withholding information, especially for you communication device people. This is where I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your communication devices. So, where are you? You are at the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion used to sit in the front of the space, right where that car is coming out. It's facing East Bay Street. And then Eliza's garden was lined up with my church restaurant right behind me and went all the way across. And then these servant and slave quarters were in the back of the space. So that's the layout of the land. Now, who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for those secondary clues. You guys are getting my point. Somebody hears the name Charles, I want another clue so I know how to address them. They're all 3 different men. Now, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. If I don't give them that recognition, they're going to do it for me very nastily through one of your communication devices, probably a spirit box. I've seen it dozens of times, so I just try to make sure I remember every night. Is that what it says? It says we're safe, everybody. We're good. Now, moving on to Eliza. She has a much...
I mean, they're lying.
Eliza has a much better story. Let's get into her. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age when they married. It was creepy then, creepy now. So I'm just going to point that out. I don't think there's anybody in the group that has an age gap between them as far as couples go. And I've had to put my foot in my mouth a few times, so that's why I'm looking around at all of you. Now, back to Eliza. She married him because her father thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home to England so he can see them one last time. Eliza did not believe he was dying, and instead, she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet, guys. She did marry him out of love. This is a true love story and a respectful woman. So when we are out and about, once I'm done, let's try to be respectful as much as we possibly can. Otherwise, all activity does stop. But anyway, she was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead started sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it now. However, when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not super hot here all the time. So when she learned how to keep it going, she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop down by the Stoner River, got a hold of Dad and told him the rice plantations were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with this indigo. She was right. We We now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of. So,
See it?
that's
In
the
that
boring
window up
business
there?
stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit. That's why you guys are all here. Now, here's what's
She's
gonna happen.
seeing something in that window.
Yeah, it's been.
Window panes to it. So.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So that's
Yep.
not going to be okay. So
Plus it's-
I was like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, ghosts
'Cause
are
it
not
kept-
going to be hanging out on the window going, hey, down
well,
Also notice, like, the building is tall. Ghosts are not going to be 50
I
feet
thought
tall
maybe it's
either.
just hanging out up there, you know, floating, maybe.
A lot of people will claim something in the tree. I'm like, nope, pirates didn't
Oh,
hang over
okay.
here, sorry.
Yeah.
Because again, all the leaves and branches. So with all of these communication devices, I'm going to basically kind of throw out a bunch of focus questions based on what type of spirit box you have or communication device. Keep in mind that we do have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder and at least 5 to 6 communication devices. Those answers that you are asking for can go anywhere. That's why I always, even if it was just the inquiry here, I'm going to still use at least 2 communication devices to verify where it's going to go. So that way you guys can kind of keep that in mind. So let's start off with the red spirit boxes. Who has those? So I got Matt. Oh, look at that. You guys are right next to each other. All right, so you guys are going to be focused on Eliza's death. So 4 major things that we get common answers to: how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So keep that in mind. Your answers can go anywhere.
Listen to this.
Next to the spirit box, what do we have? So we have the Ouija board, and where's my word list? We have that. ELAINA. So the 2 of you are going to be kind of almost in tandem. So you're going to be looking for Eliza's initials in order. No anagram, no word scramble. ELP. You hopefully will be finding what the L means. So I'm not going to tell you what that is, and reason why is because the Eliza I just talked about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife, Eliza, also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. You're going to find out which one. You're going to hopefully get the initials. Does that make sense? Any other words that are being spelled out, please let me know. So the 2 of you, so Trenton and DENA, good with names. So the 2 of you are going to have the same set of questions as well, just based on type of spirit box. Dimension's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it. If you get an answer, we will commonly get 2 to 3 numbers of the exact date of when that occurred. So again, it's not like simple numbers either. I'm just going to point that out. So again, keep in mind, you guys could be getting answers from any other device of all the questions that I went out there for. If you go rogue with questions, be respectful, no yes, no questions. That will not be right. I won't write down yes, no answers, just so you guys know. If you have a conversation and it's more conversational, I can see that, but yes and no, I can throw them out. The word Charleston, you're listening to Charleston radio stations. I will not be writing down the word Charleston or the numbers 843 because that is our area code. Okay, so kind of keep those in mind too. But as far as that goes, I am going to keep Rachel behind. So I can teach her more about that device. Everybody else, we're going to spread out. Please stay away from the 5 to 6 cars that we have left in here, meaning do not go anywhere near those vehicles whatsoever. So just kind of work around them. And then I do 1 or 2 round robins with you guys based on what's going on with your device. I take a few notes and I regroup us and give you all of the answers and show you how what you found pieces this puzzle together. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, everybody spread out besides Rachel. You're going to stick with me. Yes, please. Thanks for working. All right, so just by clearing it out. Ready.
I'm gonna go over here.
My feet are fucking numb. My vertigo's fucking with me.
Oh, well.
I don't see nothing. Then this thing ain't got above 0.4 the whole time. This is
Well,
bullshit.
No.
Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything?
No, I'm listening. I think I'm supposed to be asking questions here.
No.
When was the building destroyed? When was the building destroyed? When was your mansion destroyed? How was your building destroyed? What time was your building destroyed?
What year?
You're cracking me up. Doesn't always have to be like just because sometimes we look like some people like out like this. Exactly. So
We're getting big.
I was coming back there to stand on. Huh?
We're getting big. You don't care. This is stupid.
This is recording.
Just saying stupid. Tar Heels are getting big.
Oh, that's what you're watching? Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Turn it on.
Huh?
Turn it on.
No, he said to keep it rolling the entire time. I know, I thought that's what. A banshee.
I'm ready to go home. I don't want to do this shit no more.
Oh, something caught up. Oh, someone's over there. Never mind. Let's go lean against this. Let's go lean against that.
have you seen anything?
No, I mean, I thought I saw something up there. And I keep this rolling the entire time?
The time that we're here, yeah.
Okay.
So nice slow movements that come out of it. Trenton, have you heard anything? Oh, he's like focused. He's got both earbuds in.
Yeah.
Not listening.
Any numbers coming out of yours, Brandon?
0.4 is the house I got.
Okay. It's almost a good thing, at least with yours. All right, let me follow Angel. What do you got?
Let's go lean against the wall over there. Go lean against the wall over there.
And the temperature dropped down to like 65.
Don't trip.
Oh shit, I got 1.5.
Oh, really?
1.8. What's his name?
Nick.
Nick. I went up to 2.4.
Oh. Well, that doesn't help.
Might want 1.5 now. This is fucking stupid. Let's go home and watch ball game.
Want me to give you the keys?
Hey Siri, I don't know how to get there. I don't know where we at. Hey Siri, what's the score of the North Carolina Tar Heels basketball game?
All you do is walk straight down there, and it's in that parking lot down there.
We're getting leave.
Did you hear me? You want the keys?
You want me to leave?
No. I mean, you're not happy.
Give me the keys. I'm leaving. What do I get?
Right down there in the parking lot.
Take this.
Okay. It's straight down there, and it's in that down across that little road right there, and it's in that parking lot.
Matthew's my last one. I have to talk to Trent.
He's in the zone.
85. 85. Did that say 85?
Yeah, it was 85 pieces.
So should I keep asking? Like, does she like the visitors? Like, do you like the company? Please?
Oh my
education. What do we got?
Wordlist in the past.
Okay, give me the last 4 or 5 terms.
Snut.
Okay.
Chant.
I don't have to write yours down. It's doing it for me. I'm just listening.
Oh, sorry. Chant.
Teaching on there too. Didn't we talk about that?
Yep.
Sure did. I'm interested. See if anything else actually pops up.
3.8.
3.9.
Those of you with cameras, obviously get them up and running, but you don't need to keep them on me in here, especially with yours, Corey, because there's enough foliage in here to get the hot and cold between the brick and the foliage. But again, if people are going to be cutting through us, even just regular passersby, just kind of be discreet. We will split the seas like what they just did for us, and I will pause and step backwards so they can pass through. Just be discreet with your cameras, even if you point them down, which is perfectly fine. Where's my other one, Kayla? Where are you at? Oh. She's wearing dark clothing and face the opposite way. I'm like, I know we're missing somebody else. So, Kayla, we are going to completely understand if you just grab the handle and point it down when people pass by. So, that gentleman that was just up there, by the way, my first thought when we walked through them was like, okay, I'm sold out, which means he gets the extra 4 people that wanted to do this. Sorry, I'm just kind of dragging myself a little bit. Which, again, we normally run into groups like 20 or more from some of the competitors around here. I'm surprised like we're not seeing those folks down here tonight. I'm actually shocked. And I don't time this, so it's a matter of like we just go from space to space. I'm sorry, Trenton. I didn't ask you. Did you hear anything along the way?
I did not.
Sorry, you're super quiet too, man. So whenever I'm going over history, I am going to ask you to mute. My ear is trained to listen to that, and I will get lost in where I'm at with the. No, you're good. Don't apologize. You didn't know. It's okay. It's just I'm the weirdo guy, where I'm like all I want to do is listen to white noise and static.
Question: do you get anything on here that'll say something and it resays it immediately right after?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I had that earlier with Better Business. Well, it wasn't like immediately.
Well, this one,
but it said
it just said things are great, and we just kept going.
So here's an example, because I did study radio waves in school too. So 106.1 and 106.2 are basically the same station, correct? But one's on a delay. That's why you're
So then
getting
you get that
that little bit of a double feature kind of mentality.
Okay.
So it is the same station, same signal. That's why I always look for things that are, if it's a disembodied voice, I try to make sure it's at least 5 radio station pulses to make sure it's not the same thing going over again and not a DJ.
Yeah, mine did it the rounds.
Yeah.
So each round.
Yeah, and a lot of times people are like, oh, I just heard AC/DC, and then 2 minutes later they heard it again. I'm like, yeah, it's going through every station thousands of times for you. They're like, why is it on every station? I'm like, it's not, it's the same station. But anyway, so let's talk about why we're here. So this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Jewelers Alley. This used to be where they basically had some of the jewels here for Charleston. And I say some because it was illegal. You had to find hiding spots. This just happens to be one of them. Every ghost tour, like I said, tells the same story. I'm going to give you different details. Let's kind of get into it. So go ahead and do a hard reset there for me, Rachel, because you're going to be looking for the initials RI. That's going to make sense here in just a minute.
Okay.
So a doctor moves down here. He comes down here from Rhode Island. There's your first RI. So he comes down here because his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you listening to Spirit Boxes right now, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. You get it all the time. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. He's going to make his own. So he comes down, and he's going to start his medical practice, but the coachman that he had that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver on their phone all the time, right? Like what we just saw. So anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. He knew the coachman and what he was going to try to do to this newcomer coming to Charleston. The person walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. Sound familiar with the initials? It's exactly why I bought the device that Rachel's holding. We were getting the letters RI, like people trying to spell out like victorious, and I would only get the RI part of it, so I wanted to verify it. So I bought a new device. That's what I do. So we've gotten it about half a dozen times in the year that I've had it whenever I bring up Ralph's name. So again, these are the things that I look at, so you know how detailed I get with some of these stories. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from these friends of mine, and you'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer. 2 gentlemen become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He is not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is part of the reason why I hate this damn story. It's a cliche. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. There's some legitimacy to this one, and this guy just won't leave me alone. I will explain here in just a few minutes. This is actually the space I was going to take out this year. But again, I just keep getting too much from this guy. So anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money than Ralph. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they talk about these plays that they go to see on their way home. And one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and Dr. Ladd is arguing that the new actress he just saw was fantastic. Ralph disagreed, thought she was horrible. Argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Now, Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dooley's Alley. Let's settle this. Somebody's gonna die. Yeah, all this over an actress, by the way. Just gonna point that out. So the two gentlemen came down, back to back, took 10 paces away, turned, Doc points his gun in the air, shoots his one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to a fight, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's not gonna forgive. He's still pissed. Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I say that date kind of slowly because I'm going to point out two things. 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But obviously, he failed because he died. Now, every ghost story that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. You hear how quiet it is? It's always like this. This is a busy Saturday night. It's like this on a Saturday afternoon. It's actually one of my most favorite places in all of Charleston because it's so tranquil. Now, if you're going to try this on your own, which by the way, we are running 3 video cameras plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a whistle, disembodied whistle, it's going to come through one of those 4 devices. Spirit boxes, especially the one that's recording. We're going to do a recordable one too, so that would be Matt. So it's not uncommon for me to get the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. I don't find that coincidental, especially since it's happened dozens of times in the 4 years I've been coming here. Do you have anything weird going on? You kind of have like this weird shrug about it.
I just got an R.
No why yet. Okay. So anyway, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through and try to get the whistles from the voice recorders on your phone, just keep in mind that every local knows this damn story. And anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single day. My garage used to be over there, and my office is up this way. So at 4 in the morning, when I'm done with your guys' data,
someone just
I
whistle?
would always walk past and upload, or
I heard it.
upload a whistle to the alley.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard that.
A whistle?
I thought it was a bird.
No, no. It was like right behind us, in this behind this brick. Yeah.
thought it was her. I thought it
No,
I thought it was.
no.
Recording.
We both went.
Yeah, because we were like, I was like, did you hear that? And she said, yeah. We heard a whistle, and they heard it over
I
there.
heard
Yeah.
it too, but I could have swore.
I thought it was
No.
It was the lamp.
No, I was looking at. I thought it was her too, but
Because it was right after you said that.
It was literally thing back there.
Yeah.
yeah.
See that thing? Like
Yes.
we're talking about the same thing, right? That
Right?
was-
Yeah. The
It was
whistle.
like a
Yeah.
And
almost
what's
like a
weird is
whistling
there shouldn't be
chittering.
anybody
Yeah.
on the other side of this wall because it's blocked up. It belongs to the church.
That's what I was gonna ask if anybody.
I
could
was
be
just
on
about to
the
ask
other
that too.
It's actually
Oh.
gated off. It's a courtyard for the church.
Did you get that?
Well, we have it all on audio. Not enough things recording.
Yeah.
side. We went 4, 5, 6.
Again, above an 8 is where I get excited.
This is 4.1. Is it because of the? You said the lights.
Usually the lamps will give us up
Okay.
to like a 7, so I go straight to an 8.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'm gonna count that as like maybe being paranormal.
Okay.
But I also throw a whistle down this alley every time I walk by it, whether it's day or night, because I've been thrown out of here. Let's talk about that. So this will also
How do you get
show-
thrown out of an alley?
We'll see. The alley didn't go all the way through this way before it was Dooler's Alley. There was a wall halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dooler's Alley. So that means they kept all the livestock down there, cows, chickens, and ducks. So it was nicknamed Cow Alley. What does that mean for you? That means that the bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks down by King Street actually sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks down there, and fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about it. Remember, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not going to be there. It's the last place you're going to find him. November 26th, 2020. Told my group, just pass by it. I'll point out where it is. You guys want to take a quick picture, but we're going to keep moving. They did not keep moving. They stood around it, a big giant circle of 10 people waiting for something to happen from their gear, even though I told them nothing's going to happen. Well, I was also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley because we were standing right outside his dining room window. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great. She was on the tour that night. Her dad's getting yelled at. She's all about it. It was hysterical. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on major holidays because I worked for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management. You guys all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. It scars me for life about working on Thanksgiving. So I moved on. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I did have at the time. I told him what happened. He's the guy I'm learning about tourism from. And he's laughing at me too, just like my daughter did. He's like, dude, you're not allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, it's residential. Reroute that group. I'm sold out again, guys. It's Black Friday. Here's what I told my group. I don't believe in the next story. I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next. And I'm like, I've never had anything happen over there. I've been there dozens of times, got nothing. So we're going to go over there. We'll talk about pirates, and we'll see what we can get. Well, before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be looking at. You think mainly Blackbeard and all of the majors, right? We're going to be discussing Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. So it's kind of like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get over there. I told them the little bit I did know. Remember, there's only a few hours to do quick research, so I can continue on. Somebody else, here's the number 300. I don't know what that one means. Wrote it down, do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
So, I normally get the woes and the wows. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. First off, I've already told you I wasn't into pirates. I can't say that now. But the problem for me is that I have a master's degree in creative writing. No matter what I'm writing, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, journalism, and when I'm doing this, I need facts and data to be able to interpret what's going on. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That's a problem for me. It means I have to read more damn books to verify the shit we're catching. So that's a big problem. I've read more books on pirates, watched more documentaries, and even played video games to get a different version of the story. So where we're going is a minimum of 2 resources of everything that will fall out of my mouth when we get over there. Just so you guys know, I am still researching pirates to this very day and how to debunk some of the legends more around them. It is a fun story, and we will be able to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site, just so you guys have that idea. You will hopefully get things from Dr. Ladd here from the alley as well, so kind of keep that in mind. Now, before we leave the space, I also like to explain the gate behind me. This gate, this will also show you the extent of my research. I told you there was a wall up here, right? So if there was a loser to the duel over this way, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of that wall. Otherwise, they gotta walk all the way down to Queen Street and double back with a dead body before they can go celebrate the winner with a pint. So I like to call this the Death Gate. Even though the wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, you guys can see that the original archway to the doorway is original to the alley itself. There's also other rumors for you locals here in the group that Andrew Jackson actually had a vote on here. I can find nothing on that rumor in myth and legend. I was very intrigued by it, but I could find no research or data from it whatsoever. Not to mention, I mean, the dude was a president. They're going to hide that kind of shit, right? So we're going to scramble in front of this group here, and we're going to go learn about pirates. So, rated R pirates, by the way. Does anybody know the joke? If a pirate's favorite letter isn't R, what is it? C. Must be the C. She was pregnant, and I don't always bring up this story, especially when there's somebody pregnant in the group. So, unless something else definitely pops up, and Corey's looking around like, holy shit, what is happening?
It wasn't me.
You were the one, man. Sorry. Wow. So, with that said, let's talk about why we're here. Did you guys notice the tiny little building right here? All right, that's the powder magazine. Okay, we are here because of the crosses you see on the building. Those are not crosses. If you don't know what those are, they're earthquake bolts. So in essence, if we have another earthquake, you can tighten those because they're turnbuckles, and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work.
Is that what those are?
It's exactly what those are. You're beating me to the punch. I love it. So I usually point out you guys have been seeing them all over town in like lion heads and pineapples and shit like this because it's just part of the Charleston charm. Right? It's just what we do here. So again, it just doesn't work. Californians usually laugh their asses off at me whenever I bring them up because they know it doesn't work. It's an old ass technology that was a dumb idea. But those right there compared to the ones behind me, that's obviously very crude kind of operation, right? That's the reason why we're here. That's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is it's the oldest government building in South Carolina. So, it was finished in 1713. This is what I call a familiar. What do I mean by that? This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This building is from her era. You guys all watch the TV shows and YouTubers. You guys have seen the Boo Buddy. I know you have. It's the teddy bear with the little blinky light K2 meter in it. If a child comes near it, they would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. We don't have any buildings this old, let alone in Charleston, but in South Carolina. So this is just something Anne would recognize as being from her era. So let's kind of get into this. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government, small building, 10 years? Sorry.
Yep.
Sometimes people take that like a little like, stop talking about the government. So I'm glad you didn't, so I appreciate that. FBI agents do not like my government jokes, just so you guys know. I've had them on the tour. But anyway, so 1708 is where our history begins. I will speed through this one so we can get to work, but I will slow down on the few piratey female twists that will show up. And it's right at the beginning. So 1708, a young lady moves here with her father from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? The three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was the wife that she kicked them out of the country? So I normally make the joke that be nice to your lady, she'll kick you all the way to Canada. So by airplane. That's a luxury they didn't have back in 1708. They came here by boat. They landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, in case you don't know our coast. Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. It means Dad is now sending young Anne down here from Georgetown to sell things from the plantation to help keep it going. Now, Anne back home in Ireland, we're going to take a step backwards for 2 seconds just to show you her mentality. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old. So kind of put that mentality of her in your brain as we kind of go through this. Do you know this story already, Kayla? You're nodding your head like...
No,
yep.
just like, wow.
Oh, there's a lot more coming. Hang on. Hopefully you got a no shit bar because it's coming. Now, fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at that point. So, the first guy she fell in love with, and I said it slowly because there's a handful. We're covering them all, just so you know. That's what makes the story so good. The first guy happens to be James Bonney. You already know where this is going. I told you her pirate name already. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. We're obviously talking about an Irish woman the day before St. Patrick's Day, by the way. So it might be an interesting piece. So when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wanted. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Everybody calls this guy Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy really is. Calico Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? All the
Baby pirates?
a bunch of baby pirates. I like how you tried to put it family friendly. That's the first time it's ever happened. I normally get I'm not answering that dirty question. It's bad luck. You guys are overthinking it. And that's the reason why I do it, is to make sure everybody's still paying attention. So thank you for the laugh. We all appreciate it. So it is bad luck. So Jack makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. The reason why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But let's all put 2 and 2 together. She is a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant and have little baby pirates. So before she starts to show her pregnancy, you can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew, by the way. Like, somebody will figure it out and they'll get rid of Jack as captain. So before she starts to show, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby over here with these friends of mine. They'll help you out and come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered it. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. To make him even more pissed off, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. They don't know who Anne is. So, with that, we're on guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, her and Mary became friends, maybe lovers, we're not really sure because of the time frame. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks, because obviously they don't know how to use cannon jims. Now, 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships with cannons. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you would be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up in communication quite a bit. We actually had something very interesting show up. I'll tell you guys about that like after we're kind of wrapping things up, because I don't want to spoil anything. But the dog piece is very interesting. Now the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates. They're dead and gone. So the 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge could give a shit. that they are female. They are still pirates. He's still gonna hang them. So when they scream out, we plead our bellies, which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're gonna count married. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career. That's not speculative fiction. Like, we can assume a lot of things. We just can't prove any of it. Now, Mary Read died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination, call it scurvy, don't care. Most books will tell you that it was like something simple like fever, and they're like, let's make it romantic, let's make it scurvy. Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what we did over there at the Pinckney Mansion site with the prominent English lady, right? So this is a pirate. I usually say if you brought a bottle of rum and smokes, have at it. It might attract her. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out. Everything else you ask is free will. Have at it. Hopefully you get a full conversation out of this. Again, this is a kick-ass pirate lady. She's not going to really care about your language either. So kind of keep that in mind. Know your ghost. That's my mentality. I did not tell you the names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I didn't tell you what those were, but yes, I know what their names are. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. That should be very interesting considering what day of the week we're on, all right, or the month. The name of Calico Jack's ship, and the name or the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Everything else is fair game. If you asked about the child that happened in Cuba, I can't prove anything. I don't know any of her children's names, so if you have a conversation with her, it is personal to you, and unless it's like super like lucrative and productive, I'm not going to count it as actual evidence. It'll just be your personal experience. I'm only looking for things that I can actually prove. Is that fair to everybody? All right. EMF readings. I get excited about 2.5s in here, just so you have that idea. Where are my EMF readers? So Angel, and then obviously Amy has it now. So, and it's usually on the back half. Parking meters and 2 electrical poles over there, you're going to give you guys between, I would say, a 3 to a 7. So if you get closer to there and you get those kind of numbers, I'm not stoked. Get above like a double digit, I'm stoked. Back here, if you get a 2.5, I'm super stoked. You should be getting zeros while you've been in here, which is weird because the Earth gives off EMF. We should be getting at least a 1, but we're not. So this is just a weird space. And again, I'll do my round robin with us here, and I'll know pretty quickly based on what's going on, like what's actually happening if we have anybody, or if Dr. Ladd followed us over here. So kind of keep that in mind as well. All right, guys, spread out. Let's get to work. Let's do it.
I got the word wimp.
Wimp?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like that's, I don't know if that would have been a term.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I got an
Maybe
all
she
right.
thinks the men are wimpy.
Right? Wimp?
Yeah, I got all right. Like when you were telling how she thought he was a wimp. Like, yeah, I got all right.
Just then?
When he was saying that how she thought her first husband was a pussy, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I read it. I was
coward.
like, maybe she
Yeah.
thought.
He beat on her.
Oh, yeah, he's, yeah. She didn't beat his ass back? Oh, wow, yeah. Huh?
I like how she went off to the corner. She has some privacy back there. How are we doing on that thing? What do you got?
It's just your shadow.
Yep. And then we got some foliage in here, so it's going to pick up on all this stuff over here. And the ivy wall is obviously not your friend.
Okay.
Just so
All
you
right.
have that idea.
Yeah. No, I did see something like right here.
Okay.
And it had legs and everything. Oh, see. That's right.
So that's picking up on the trees. It's
Oh, is it-
always going
that's
to
what
try
it
to
is?
make it look
Okay.
like a person.
Okay.
When I called the developer of this app, like I wanted to know as much as I possibly could so I could debunk things for you guys.
Right.
Not everything was a ghost. He said it's designed to make it look like a person.
Okay.
And then I started realizing, like when I actually had anomalies, they had that 3 points for the face.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
okay.
never talked about that.
Okay.
But with it being a depth perception camera, like see how it's trying to make it look like a person?
Yeah.
Especially, they're not going to be that tall.
Right.
So that's,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay. I'll just keep looking.
Yeah, and again, with these cameras, especially yours, like I might get something like one piece every other month or so, where I'm like, oh, that's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I take a screenshot and brighten it to verify it.
Okay.
And you know, if you want to try to keep somebody in view so you have a height reference, that's another good key to have with that camera.
Okay.
It's not really meant to be walked around with, to be honest, with most of these
Okay.
cameras.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I say for you guys to move slowly, it's because they're not like when I'm doing an investigation on privately, like somebody's house, like I just set them up and walk away.
Okay.
Let them record for the duration.
Okay,
I'm not walking
gotcha.
around with them.
Right,
I
yeah.
want to see if something abnormal is going to show up while it's on, a standstill.
Yeah.
But I also have motion cameras that I use for private investigations too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just watching Trenton walk across there to see
Yep.
what to look for. But yeah.
But Brandon gonna be okay?
Yeah, his legs were going numb and he's having trouble.
I seen him walk.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling too well, so he just went and sat in the car and
Fair enough.
rested.
Is he coming to pick you guys up? Like, how's that working?
Yeah, he's just staying over there at the car.
Okay.
Yeah, he might take a nap. I don't know. He's got his phone, so he's probably watching a basketball game or something.
Fair.
But yeah, no, he'll be fine.
Okay.
He'll get some. He'll do whatever he's got to do to make him feel better. So
I'm actually surprised that my mouth feels fine. Like, that abscessed tooth seems.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have not said a word all day other than calling my dogs names when I needed
Oh,
them.
wow.
My wife was at work, so I've just shut up because I
Right.
knew I had a tour tonight, and I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to get through
Right,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of like my wife normally calls me on her lunch break and stuff like that. I'm like, I texted her, I'm like, don't call. Like, let me just get through a day.
and you're feeling pretty good now.
I
huh?
actually feel fine.
That's good. Good.
Which is surprising because I was hurting on the way down here. So when I got to my office, I took some aspirin and my regular medication, and I was good.
Oh, okay.
I was
Did I
good.
not unmute this right? I haven't gotten literally anything since you've been here.
So it may have just touched something on the front, or maybe we didn't have enough volume pushing it through. Because if the volume's down, the adjustable noise control is almost like a muffle.
Gotcha.
That kind of keeps that stuff out. So if the muffle wasn't pressed down too far, you're not going to hear anything.
Right.
There's also a weird, how do I put this, signal here. So the other spirit boxes are hearing weird things too, so don't feel bad.
Okay.
It's just a weird space on the channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, she must not like me. I'm not getting nothing.
Walk around, get a better signal.
So you said back there. I was gonna walk back there. You said that's not a good place
Well, to
to
point
go.
your camera at that wall, the closer you get, it's going to look like a bunch of army men along the wall.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. 'Cause
That's
it's all
cool.
leaves.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What do you got?
1-1 and 20241. Yeah.
It calls me like a pirate sail.
Yeah. Well, he'll never be the man.
I'm getting sick.
800. I just got an 800.
Grant, you got anything? You got anything coming out of there?
I heard the courts in prison.
See if the judge's name shows up.
That's pretty cool.
Those are budget pretty cheap. That's one of the
Yeah.
last ones that I bring out. And actually, the ANC for it actually busted on last night's tour, so I was like,
When were you in prison?
I said no and they said yes.
Oh, it's that one right there. I know.
To everybody walking by, they're like, what
I
are
know.
these kids doing?
What's that reading?
Can you? Thank you.
Alright, pretty sure we can call this one. Let's head to the back wall. I usually wait until the last minute to put my phone in there Tell us what to do. And my wife knows I make these jokes. She doesn't give a shit. But anyway, so that is an origami project, by the way, so if you can figure it out for those of you. You can put this on it at work, don't worry about it. And it's disposable. Keep your own eye boogers. Same way Trenton's going to keep his own earwax.
Absolutely.
And so, Trenton, did you hear anything along the way?
I did not.
You're too quiet, man. I keep turning around like, did you get anything? Did you get anything? And then he's like, where the hell's Trenton going? So, when we come back, I'll kind of give you guys a few tips and tricks of what to expect that works like a bad day.
Okay.
I got one. Happens all the time. So the rest of us, let's go learn this very quick history, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit. Swelling back up again when I get back to the office. It was funny. I shut up all damn day. I haven't talked all day unless I had to call one of the dogs. I told the wife, don't even call me on your lunch break. I got to keep my mouth for perfectly fine for the tour. And of course, I don't work on drunken holidays. Here is your blood book. I'll zoom in on the blood stain. Just on them two, so that way they can see what's going on when they get their pieces back. I don't separate it, so it'll just be at the end of that video. Again, you guys are going to get 3 videos as it is. Compressing all this stuff takes a little bit of time. And Dina's like, yep, just see the head nods. Are we ready to go talk to the ghost? You guys ready? Again. Setting up the green box, you're going to see like Earth floating in space. And then the picture will kind of show up right above it. Try not to look down, because it'll change the object. Just look straight ahead. You already got one image coming through. Yep. It's going to be weird. You just have to briefly describe it. Get in there. The focus is right here. Henry, we got an image coming through. Is that relative to you, sir?
Are we starting?
Yes.
There is a woman in all black lace that looks like she's sitting at a table.
Okay. What time period is it? Okay. It's okay.
It looks like many times.
Okay. We're right on track. Henry, if you're here, give us something more about your occupation, or you can tell us the name of the person that might be in this photograph that we have from the green box.
This is a creepy one. There is a very creepy looking man like in a mask. His eyebrows are straight up and then a really bad Botox.
Okay.
And then there's a woman that has black. Her eyes are all black, and then under her nose is all black. Black lipstick, black hair.
Wow. More tissue coming through.
Yeah, she is creepy.
It's weird because there are nice guys. We haven't gotten any images at all. And then there's other nights.
I got ready to die.
Ready to die.
Ready to die.
We're trying to get answers out of her. Angel, can you do me a favor? Can you just lift up her earmuff and remind her to tell us what she's hearing?
Remember to tell us what you're hearing.
It said my name is Terlise.
Tell us in real time. Henry. Henry. Some people forget that I'm not asking them to remember everything for 10 minutes. I want it in real time.
Nature.
There we go. She's too loud. Tap her on the shoulder. Henry, let's get something about your work.
Given unto you.
Well, we do have your work. It's actually here at the library. Can you tell us what they like to show on
Right
Halloween?
now?
Right now. Ask us about your work. So we have the word right. That makes sense even though it's out of context. Henry, can you explain who this woman is in these images that we're getting out of the green box tonight?
75.
Makes no sense to me on the 75. Henry, who's the woman? Is this your wife? If so, say the word wife or her name.
14 points.
Henry, did somebody else come here with you tonight? Or are you the only one? come with respect. I have mainly ladies in here tonight, a few gentlemen. I know it's a larger group, and I also know it's a Saturday. It's probably been crowded in here for you tonight. But we will come with respect and leave with respect. Just a few answers to kind of verify that you're here, next to your bust.
Picture.
What do you got?
It's a tree. It's a tree and a fence, and it looks like it's
Looking
fall
for
or winter, and it's a long
Crazy.
pathway with all lit by lamps.
Okay. What kind of lamps?
They're tall, like lamp posts.
We've actually gotten we've got triple digits here, like during these sessions. So it's been a while. So
looking for.
I'm actually excited about that. Actually said that? Looking for?
Yeah.
Henry, what are you looking for? I was expecting her to tell me she saw a small building, like your old schoolhouse. You want to talk about when you were a teacher? Henry?
Pickup truck.
I got visit and very talented. That's all.
Very talented and successful.
I got very
Moses
talented
Duff.
as well.
What was the deaf piece?
I didn't hear.
She
I
says
have a picture. It's a woman. It's a girl, and she's got her hair swept back a little bit. She looks like she's dressed in pink, like a pink, almost like corset top. She's got a barrette in her hair and short brown hair.
what time period did you say it was?
Again, probably 1800s.
And how old would you say
It looks. It's a ballerina. It's a ballerina.
Oh,
Yep, I can see there's a tutu.
okay. Age group? How old is this young lady?
18.
Okay. Yeah, this is circling pretty tight. Okay, Henry. Back to you, sir. Not really sure, you're trying to show us things about your wife, but the point I was going to make to these folks is that I know you met your wife when you were her teacher. She was 16 years old.
Supposed to find.
More about searching. Henry, do you want to talk more about your wife? Lots of pictures of young ladies in there. I'm not sure who these folks are yet. Haven't seen the images. Henry?
Intimate terms.
We're running out of time already. We're down to about 4 minutes, Henry.
Lovely.
Intimate and lovely. Talking about his wife. Can you give us your wife's first name, please?
Gone away from them.
Henry. Looking for your wife's name.
I don't care.
Trenton, you got anything?
Nope.
Poor guy has been shit all night.
I never. Hell no.
Henry, let's move on to a different topic. Let's talk about the subject matter of your work. Can you tell us what that was about? After you were a school teacher. You go out to the battlefield, you come home, what do you do? You do anything else? Henry? He's got that thing cranked too.
Somebody to lean on the song.
Did you need help from somebody? Another writer friend maybe that was here in town?
128, 121.
Yes.
We are.
Henry, did you just give us your birthday? Birthday's December 8th. 128, what you heard.
Yeah, oh
128.
yeah, 128.
Trying.
Trying. It's talk about your death then. Give us your birthday. I'll take it. You want to talk about your death? How you were sick? Henry, we're down to about a minute.
I have a picture.
Okay. A lot of pictures tonight.
It's a bunch of looks like military men
Okay.
standing in a long line.
What color are their uniforms?
They're green, red beret, or red something. It's a little bit blurry.
Okay.
But yeah, the uniforms are green and they're all standing in very close to each other.
House
in,
living
their military
inside?
formation.
Henry, we're gonna wrap this up. Can you tell us goodnight? You gave us some military things. I got some vague references.
Joshua, you demand.
Sergeant could be silly. Henry, last chance.
Picture. It's
Oh, I'll be there when I'm ready.
It's a kid. It's a little girl, and then there's a woman next to her, and the little girl's sleeping.
How old is this little girl?
I'll be there
Probably
when I'm ready.
4, 5, 6. I can't really tell. But she's wearing a pink top, and she's got short hair, brown hair, and then it looks like there's a woman, maybe only half of her face showing, sleeping next to her on this side.
Huh.
And
I like
she's
how they old.
45?
I know. I'm sorry.
Everybody does it. I just think it's funny.
Top.
45 mean anything?
Team.
No.
Okay.
Henry, I'm gonna call it a night, sir.
He did say he'd be here when he's ready.
He would. He did. Alright, Angel, let's go ahead and get her tapped out. Elena, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. Neither one of you get up. Doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel like 10 minutes to you?
No.
How long did it feel?
Like 2 to 3.
Sorry. This is like the one thing I have that messes up you guys are there. When I bought the blindfolds, I wanted to make sure, like, I figured there were going to be ladies sitting here.
Yeah.
That's why I bought the ones I did instead of the ones that go all the way around. But with this, I'm like, military guys.
Just heard laughing.
So the other piece here is that